Welcome back to the Your Art, God's Heart study as we are reading through a 21-day guide for creatives together, looking at topics that help you blend your spiritual life and your creative life. Today we're on day 8, and day 8 talks about principles. Now, we're not talking about principles in school. I know you know the difference between a principle that applies to our lives, a idea or something that we can apply to each moment of our lives and works the same way. The principle of gravity, I know it's called a law, but that's the same concept for me. Something that we can rely on, something that you know will work each time you apply it to a certain situation. Now, principles work because they are strong and grounded in truth. However, it's tough whenever we come to the creative life and realize that there are some gray areas that it's hard to put a handle on what to do next. You get a contract that might have something that's a little bit fishy. You get an opportunity with the artist, but you're not sure you agree with everything the artist is doing, and you're not sure if it's the right move for your creative life or your career. Maybe there's something relationally that's happened that you're not sure where you stand, and you want to make sure you're on the right side, but there's some murky waters there. In all of these situations, it's tough, but you have to lean back on principles. The example we give in our devotional is of David and Uriah. Uriah being the person who was more principled in this case than David. Uriah had some solid principles that he stood on and eventually got him killed. Now, I don't want that to happen to any of us, and I don't think it would, but it meant there was a price to be paid for following the principle. And so in our creative lives, especially as we blend our spiritual life and our creative life, I want to make sure that you're thinking first of how this principle applies to my life and how do I want to be seen if I make a certain decision. And if that decision hurts my career, you have to back away and step away and say, maybe I need to step on the principle and stand on the principle rather than go for this career opportunity, or vice versa. Perhaps there's a principle that says you need to move forward with something rather than step back. In every case, I would suggest you look back at the word, talk to trusted advisors and friends in your circle, and make sure that you're basing your decisions on principles that stand throughout your life. Therefore, you won't find yourself going back and forth every time a situation comes that needs some study, some deliberation, some that might make you feel indecisive, but that you can be decisive about. Remember, the Bible talks about asking for wisdom in James. If any man lacks wisdom, you can just ask God, and he promises not to hold back on that. So I encourage you, consider your principles, consider the things that you are going to say that are non-negotiable when it comes to your creative life, wherever they are, based on your spiritual foundation, and you'll find yourself even more fulfilled when you get to the end of the road and you know you made the right decisions because you had the right foundation on principles. Hope that helped, and I can't wait to see what we pull out on day 9. Make sure you're back to see what we are going to study on the next episode.